Nanã Buluku. Well, what happened was, our capacities were prisms of our intentions. To fix a mistake, you have to go back. Enough moments have passed that I can see now how pain works. Ever gotten a deep cut? Been bitten, burned, broken a bone, sloughed off skin, taken a bad drug, really hurt, and thought, it's never going to be the same again. After all the blood and pus, the splint, the stitches, peeling, kneeling before the throne and praying that the heaving stops, it is not the same. Around a broken branch, that steady swell is the healing, a mark to mitigate loss, a tree with stories. What if you can't go back? There is only forward. What if there aren't mistakes, only happy accidents and unhappy accidents, intention diffracted by capacity? What if framing is intentionally lying by omission? What survives the broken parts never stops growing around impositions, never stops rejecting them. There is no undoing a ring once the year has cast it. There is only adding more, or adding no more. What if it's not the kind of pain you can point to? What if the imposition is not shearing, but shaping, a constant wind, drought? What then? What if you do not shatter like oak, but bow like willow? Are you less imposed on, bent, or more, or just different? What happened was, we grew stooped and shorn as necessary, but then catastrophe after silence after catastrophe, and I thought, oh, well, that's gonna leave a mark. Sure enough, it did. What I couldn't see coming were the ripples in the rings, how everything reverberated as it shed, reverberated in stain, even though I drew it on everything. Undergirding all the big family is a legacy of strife, teaching each creature what it needs to know to stay alive, where to grow, where to atrophy, which way the wind will be blowing. The story is, skin was shed, eaten, regrown, shed again. The story remains. No matter what is spoken over it, women know the truth about the stages of life and where it comes from. Just outside the Matryoshka Center, there is the Mawulisa. The story is, she left them to their own devices. I like this story. It makes the sun and moon lover twins who had lots of accidents because the creatrix fucked off with better things to do besides look after children. Or maybe she just had no interest in it. Hard to say. The story made it to me through many frames. I never again want to talk about some things, but that means that they have to stop happening. Otherwise I would be a coward who couldn't sleep, and I'm fast running out of beauty, so I'd better have something stronger than that inside of me. Everything here is finite. It only feels never ending. But you can count them, all the way back. There were only so many mothers before us, only so many who moved appropriately in the wind, who knew where to grow and atrophy. There will be only so many. What do you call intent to harm? What do you call indifference? What do you do with that? Pray for poor capacity? Opacity? Is that really helping? Or do we not all agree on what harm is, or if it should be done, when and under what circumstances? Maybe we should talk about it. After all, no matter what it is, the All-Mother made who you're eating. Is it a difficult distinction between intentional, needless hurting and what is necessary? You tell me. I think of teeth and claws instinctively knowing where to sink so that it's quick. I think that to the dead snake in the road, it doesn't matter if you were cruel or careless or genocidal though void of malice. The snake will never shed another skin or coil around the swell of another tree's scarred rings. I think of groups convecting next to each other, expecting a fight, expecting to have to try, and often losing. Scars earned to feed or protect the young, to make it through the winter, to keep from being eaten, worn as badges of honor. Only an intraspecies predator, more interested in trophies than food, will tell you that your scars are a problem, that your past is a burden for you. They mean that it will help you recognize patterns, and unless you are stuck in projecting in a doom loop, that is a problem for them and their sadism. What happened was, I dissociated during what we're going to call sex, and he caught me like I was doing something wrong. He was compassionate, which snapped me out of it. I fully accepted it, expected him to accept my apology, but he didn't. Neither of those things had ever happened to me before. This is not my first marriage. Usually when he does something wrong, I can't call him out without him having a meltdown, after which I end up comforting him. You know, men. I fully expected that again. Not this time. He looked at me like he owed me an apology. Because he did. And waited. Later, he told me I wasn't the first he'd been with who had done that, or the second, or the third. Our foremothers' bodies must have known what to atrophy. Epigenetics can't lie. But I'd like us to try to grow that one back, and have it be a good thing. You know, with this fucking guy, I think I have chosen wisely. What did our forefathers know this whole time? Value all of your rings. Attempt to carve not a single one out, no matter what you eject along them, what old skin sloughs off. Through their many ripples you will trace back all the patterns within your capacity. The vast ones will move unrecognizably through us. We can but try to withstand our pains with as much integrity as we have to work with. Feel our way forward along the furrows of each groove earned, as they reverberate their finite song. Try to be brave and, well, pray that we are not a collective mistake, that we are going to make better stories. Be prepared to live them true, and then do. That we are never going to be the same again. As a good thing. That if we are to continue to have the ability to leave such marks, our intentions improve immediately.